Shelby, can you see me?
Krista's here on an iPhone.
Oh, you're so, that's cheap.
Why? No. No, no, no.
No, George, we can't see you.
Oh. Hey, there we go. So Zoom is new to me, so I'm learning all this. But there's nothing like being in your own bed doing this.
Just remember, we can see everything you do.
So we're just waiting on Karen, correct? Do we have David? I don't see him.
I don't see him on here either. That's Karen. Where is the old city dog sleeper? Show the participants list. That way people can see who's on there.
I wonder if he forgot.
No, he remember. I know he asked me for the Zoom link, so he should be on any time.
Well, I'm seeing Krista. Lila's iPad. I don't know who that is.
It's Karen.
Oh, it's Karen. Ted's on iPhone. So this is another.
I'm on twice.
Oh. And then we got BPRD and Boardman Park and Rec. Boardman Park and Rec, that's the host. That's you, Shelby's.
Yeah, BPRD is the owl.
You guys have one down there?
Yeah. We just got it today.
Fresh off the press.
Oh. Well, you got it going. That was awesome. Was it very, Scott, oh yeah, I'm on. Scott, was it very hard to put together?
The owl?
Yeah.
Shelby put it
I'm
together.
the one that did that.
Shelby did. Woohoo. Was it hard?
No.
Hey, she would not, that would not surprise me on anything, because I've seen her out in the woods. She will probably outwork most guys. So anything a guy could do, Shelby can do. I know that.
No doubt.
No, the owl is actually pretty easy. It just hooks up to the TV with an HDMI cord, and then you just plug it in with a USB to your laptop.
Awesome.
That's it.
Hey,
Yeah.
I can see on my screen. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. I can see that little strip with everybody.
Mhm.
I can see me.
Yep.
See? Woo. Krista.
All right. I think we have everybody, don't we?
Yes. Looks like everybody's in.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. What do you have? 7:01?
I have 7:02.
7:02. All right, there you go.
Hey, we got presents.
Yeah, so we're gonna swear in, going off of your agenda, we're gonna swear in Lynn, obviously, in the January meeting. And we don't have, let me look at your participants. Do we have any guests on here? We have a Nicole.
That's probably Nicole Kent from the pool. She's our pool manager.
Okay. Everybody else belongs here. We have Karen as Lila's iPad, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Shelby, did you want to go over the minutes?
Okay, so you have the minutes for the October 26th meeting. Were there any corrections or questions regarding those?
I have one.
Okay,
Right before you, the paragraph before you started the presentation of the financial report,
yes.
the last sentence.
Price. I did that a lot. I had to go back and change you multiple times in right Schreimer. I'm so sorry.
That's the only one I caught, so good job.
No, apparently George Price was on my mind that day.
Well, I'll forgive you because your husband worked with him, so.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Also move.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? All right, I think we passed.
Okay. Next is financials, right? Yes, financials.
Yeah, financials. Shelby, I'll let you take that.
Okay, so first page is our treasury report. As you can see, we still have some money in the general fund account. We have not had to transfer any money out of the LGIP yet so far to cover expenses. So I think we're doing pretty good on that. As you can see, the boat dock account is still open. I was going through the minutes and recording them from last time, and you guys did not make a motion to close that and specify where you wanted those funds. So that is something that we need to do today in order to get that account closed.
Does it just need to go back to the general?
It can either go back into the general bank account at Banner, or you guys can choose to put it as a reserve in the LGIP.
Okay, I wasn't listening. What did you say we have extra money to do with?
On the treasury report, it still shows the dock account is open and having funds in there. It's because last meeting, you guys did not make a motion to close that and specify where you wanted those funds to go. If you wanted it to go into the general banking account, or if you wanted it to go into the LGIP as a reserve.
So you're talking about the $920?
Yes. So that is something we'll need to decide tonight. We'll need to get a motion on that and decide where you guys want to put that.
And we took the rest of that money and put it where? Into that boat dock expense, didn't we?
The 920 is still sitting in the boat dock account.
I know that's not my question. My question was that the other money that, because there was money in that account until we took it out and did the
Correct.
dock payment.
Yes, it went to pay for
Why
what
can't you do that with this money?
we can, if that's what you'd like to do, we can put it towards the loan balance as well.
Well, I guess I don't care. So somebody else better figure it out.
So do we need, I mean, do we still
We
owe
need a
money
motion.
on the boat dock?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, well, we've paid the boat dock, but there is a loan that the boat dock is taken out from the general that needs to be paid back, and we can put that 928 towards that. We just need a motion to close the account and to do that.
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Shelby. So I have a question then. So what do we do at the end when it says that we had budgeted for a $20,000 transfer from the boat dock? Do we just amend our
well,
budget?
I don't know why you want to close does that have a checking account? Is that what you're trying to close, is the checking account?
Yes, that is a checking account, and the way it's set up, it charges a
Okay,
$10.
I can see closing the checking account. I don't see closing the credit, the way you keep track, because people will still be paying money for renting boat dock slips, and that's where we put it. Isn't that right?
Yes, normally that's where you would put it, yes.
Well, I thought you said that, Shelby, I thought you said we were still going to be itemizing the funds separately.
We would be, because the accounting system does allow that. So even if we put it into the general banking account for the park, it would be itemized out that it's for the boat dock.
Yeah, we're just closing that bank account is all we're doing.
Yes, and we'll keep track of how much money we're taking in on boat rental.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with closing that account because there's no reason to have that little checkbook.
Because that's what we talked about last meeting, was to get rid of that.
We just
But we
didn't
didn't
make a
do it.
motion.
We didn't make the motion, so I stand with my motion. And David seconded.
Yep, David seconded. Everybody voted except Krista, I don't think, because she had a question.
No, I'm good.
I
I'll
am.
let you continue on.
Okay, so the next page is the notice from Zion's for our payment that's due on 12/14 for the bill bond. So $273,943.75. We will be making a wire payment in December for the go bond. The GO bond, I keep calling it go bond. Any questions on that?
So Shelby,
Yes.
no, not on that, but were we going to put shouldn't we put we've added the Bank of VO loan to your treasury report, but we haven't added the loan for the repayment of the boat dock thing. Do we need to put that on there so at least we know what we owe ourselves? Or does it matter?
I can add that to it if you'd like to have that on there as well.
Does anybody want that on there? Just speak up if not.
No, I think
I think-
it needs to be on there so that we
Yep.
know how much the boat dock owes the general fund.
Okay, I agree. So if you could add that from here on out, that'd be great.
Okay. Okay, so the next one that you have is our statement of revenues and expenditures for the park. Total revenue was $67,942.32. Total expenses is $71,948.20, giving us a net revenue of negative $4,005.88. The next report is our budget comparison for the park. Any questions on that one? Okay, next report is the bank account activity for the park.
On 10-1 on this report, the elite tree service is that our, I mean,
We
Is
had
that
more
the one-
trees that needed to be removed.
so there'll be more onto the elite. Okay.
Yeah, that's what that was. Okay, next report is our campground stats. We had 15,616 stays for the month of October. Or no, that was money, sorry, that was cash, that was actual cash brought in. Stays was 1,127. Of that, 1,096 was regular camps, 29 was overflow, and 2 people were tenters.
Oh, brr.
Right? That'd be cold.
It is now. October was okay.
Okay. Any questions on the park financials so far? Okay, next one is our statement of revenues and expenditures for the pool. Total revenue was $41,058.12. Total expenditures was $67,804.55. So it gave us a loss of $26,746.43.
How many lifeguards does that include? I see the amount, but I don't know how many.
Oh, 6.
Did you hear that, George?
Yes, 6. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, and the next report is the budget to actual for the pool. Year to date. So our total expenditures for this year so far has been $229,287.92. The next report is the bank account activity for the pool. The next page is the 2019-2020 scans for comparison against this fiscal year scans, which is the next page. And then there was another page that I sent today in the supplemental information that was going to be a handout, but we're on Zoom, so can't do handouts. It's the list of sponsorships that are left over from when we first built the rec center that have been billed for, just so you guys have an idea of what we still have left and who's paid so far. Is there any questions on the financials?
Just on the sponsorships, it seems like we had other sponsors.
There were other ones, but they have already completed their obligations.
Okay,
These are the only ones that have obligations left to us.
okay, so just 4.
And of those 4, 3 of them are still outstanding for 2020. And I could not find any evidence that Finley Buttes had paid for their 2019 as well. So we billed for both.
So did you double them up for this year?
Yeah, yeah, we billed both for 2019 and 2020 when we sent the bill on November 1st.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, I did see that. Just a sec, Krista. I had something I marked. There it is. No, actually, I'll get with Shelby on this. Just note down workman's comp.
Okay.
I find that workman's comp, that's, this is just the rec side. Shows there's $8,535 taken out. Karen, you might be able to explain this a little bit, because it doesn't seem like,
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at how much we pay out for the workman's comp.
Lifeguard's expensive.
That was the insurance renewal for a workman's comp.
Oh, that is? Okay, because I was gonna say, it doesn't seem like workman's comp takes out very much.
It doesn't, well, it doesn't take out very much for you, but it costs the employer more. And that was our insurance renewal for that. And lifeguard, we have a higher rate that we have to pay for lifeguards and for our park aides.
Okay. All right.
So what
Well,
does that
and that-
pay us through?
That usually is figured, is this your yearly, when you make your estimate of whatever your workers' comp is going to be and you pay that premium,
Yes, that's what that was.
and then they'll audit you and then probably give you a credit if you overestimate.
Correct.
Okay. Learning all this new stuff.
Well, and sometimes when you overestimate, that's not a bad thing because, and like I would think this year, where we've been off and on and off and on with employees, that it would be pretty hard. I mean, it would be pretty hard to get a really good estimate.
Yes.
How did you know that was workers' comp? Is that because she said so?
Well, it says, yeah, it says it on the report, workman's comp, $8,535. I was
What
going,
report are you
Holy
looking
cow.
at?
I'm looking at the statement of revenues and expenditures
Oh, okay.
for the Park and Rec District, it says.
Okay, because it's also listed on the cash journal. And it only says special districts. That's why I was wondering how you knew. Okay.
Are there any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes or the, sorry, financials?
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, pass.
Hey, question. Are we having to wait for Lynn to be sworn in, she has to be done in person.
Well, and she can't vote until, we swear her in. I guess I see she's online though tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can wait. I don't think it's,
Okay. I mean, I think it's
unless
cool
you,
in person too, but
well, unless you want somebody when we get ready to talk about the policies. Since we're all
Yeah,
on,
so,
what?
yeah, let's move into that whole park employee handbook.
Well, shall we do the two reports first?
Sure, great.
And then we'll go to the real meat of the meeting.
Okay, so let's go with Ted.
Okay. Um, So over the last month or so, we've been busy winterizing all of the parks, buildings in the campground. We have 53 sites available for use as of today. 34 of them are being used for the winter season right now, and we're getting new people, now and then for the winter term. We burned pretty much all of our brush piles that we had. There were 7 altogether. 2 of those were at the Oregon Potato Field, and there was 5 here at the marina. And one of the piles we had to transfer into a burning pit because the fire department didn't want us to burn when there was no water source available. We learned a lesson the hard way because we did light one pile on fire, and Gino wound up having to come over at midnight on a Saturday night to watch the fire all night long. And finally the fire department came and kind of doused it, and the pile started again a couple days later, and fire department had to come again and douse it. And they may charge us for that though.
So what are we going to start doing about that brush pile we have down there?
Oh, we burned it. We've already burned it. It's
No,
finally,
no, I mean like next year and the year after.
oh, the one behind the office?
Yeah, the pit.
Yeah, that's okay to burn that because we have water right there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just the ones,
oh, okay.
yeah, just the ones towards the day use area we had in those parking lots. So they didn't like us to burn there.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and right now we're working on the disc golf course. We've made 18 4x10-foot forms so that they're like the tee off area for the disc golf. And we're right now setting them in place, and we'll be putting gravel in and plywood top, and then the AstroTurf on top of that. We still haven't received the goals yet, or the basket. So I imagine those are going to show up, pretty soon. Okay, and then on the 19th, the fire department did an inspection of our office and shops. We did pretty good with them. I guess this is something they need to do every year, and they haven't really done it before. So they decided to come and do it. And, we looked through everything. There was a couple little things that they thought we should change, but, overall, we look pretty good. So fire department guys are pretty nice too, by the way.
Was it Chief that came down?
No, it was 3 of the guys that work there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was the kid that when they came to City Hall and did the inspection, the kid that used to work at the tire shop when we had a tire shop here.
Yeah. Redheaded
I
kid?
think it was him.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're going around to places and doing their inspections.
All right. Is that it, Ted?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Scott?
Okay, so as you know, we're closed for that 2-week freeze, and hopefully it stays that way. But one thing that didn't close is our Kidscape program, as youth programs, schools can still maintain and operate as long as we have the distances and everything set, which we have been. So we've been offering and continue to offer the Kidscape program. This week here we're in no, as it's a short week, but we were full last week and we anticipate the same as next week. So that's still going on. We've had some requests, a couple requests. One gentleman wasn't very happy with us about accommodating, trying to get in to use the rec center without a mask on. But the only accommodation we can really do is offer a face shield, since we don't have a business that has a curbside pickup. They have to actually come in there and be with other folks. So he didn't really like that idea, but that's what we're doing, trying to accommodate people. Because once they get to their spot to work out, as long as they're maintaining 6 feet, they don't have to wear a mask. But he did not want to wear a mask inside the building at all. But that doesn't happen very often. Pickleball groups. So obviously none of this is happening right now, but we did have a great turnout about 3 days a week for pickleball. Anywhere from 8 to 15 would show up. And I think I want to capitalize on this as far as doing more tournaments, with pickleball tournaments. There's some other groups around that are interested in it too. So I think there's quite a large group that'll come to do that. Things like pickleball, cornhole, programs like that, where they can still happen right now, even because of the social distancing that we can do by those projects. So I want to take advantage of that and start offering those programs more. The other thing is, every year we always do I guess in December, we always sell our day passes. In the past, they've been for $5 in groups of 10 or more, packets of 10 or more. Since currently we're at a $4 due to COVID price, we're offering the same, more of a convenient to buy a group for Christmas, maybe stocking stuffers like that. So we're going to showcase that not only at the rec center, but involved with the Chambers program that they do every year. So they're going to sell them as well there for us. The other thing is pool covers. I want to talk about pool covers. So we did have two guys come out representing both the company SR Smith, who is going to be building these pool covers, and then Pure Water Aquatics, which is more of the group that is familiar how these all work. So they came out and did a lot of measurements, and they are being made as we speak. In fact, I'm sure they're pretty well into it right now. They do assure me there'll be no problem having those pool covers by or before the middle of December, which I've been in contact with Nextent and Oregon Savings Trust, and they're on board with that too, which means that we should be able to get our incentive check by or before the middle of January, which is we're right on target for what we wanted to do. And as far as the daddy-daughter go, I know that we discussed holding and seeing what's happened. Right now, it looks kind of bleak. So just kind of looking at this and having to start thinking about our sponsors that we've had before. We don't want to wait till the last minute. If we were forced to continue the way we're doing, recommending that based on what the board comments were last month to offer 3 different options, times that they could get in, since we can have no more than 50 people at one time, 25 couples, and just do it back to back, 3 nights in a row, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What I want to do is work with some of our vendors that we have to make sure that we can negotiate proper cost adjustment to be able to do that. I think that's, I have for my report right now for that part. I have more for later, but
Scott,
yes,
on the pickleball, were most of those people from Oregon?
most of them, but quite a few from here in Boardman too.
Good. Well, I mean, quite a few pickleball, they were doing quite a lot of that in the summer times and stuff over in Oregon. So I was hoping we'd get started. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
I know that up in Tri-Cities, that has grown like crazy. And they do competitions up there all the time. So I'm sure if you start, when you get a chance to start having tournaments, the word will spread very fast and you will fill up very quickly on this.
Yeah, there's another group, I want to say, correct me, I may have it wrong. I thought it was in Wasco County, but there's another group that's playing once a week. Pretty large group who's interested in coming as well. So I think it'd be a great turnout when we get a chance to do that.
You bet. So I'm excited you're doing pickleball because pickleball is one of my favorite sports to play.
It is
So,
fun.
It is a blast. I'll even get Mr. Bohr out there with me.
Before we go into the next thing, Shelby, how much money have we been collecting? Have we gotten some checks from the county for our property tax yet? You should have received some in the last few days.
That's been deposited into the LGIP? No, or just checks?
Our tax rate.
I suppose it's been deposited in the government pool.
I say we haven't gotten any hard checks.
Hmm.
Anything that's been received, they've automatically been putting in the LGIP.
So do you know how much we've gotten in property taxes so far this year?
Not a total. The largest sum that they've done so far has been 243,000. They keep sending more and more statements, and I keep having to go in and look and see which ones are duplicated and which ones are not.
Right. Okay. So you're 3/4, you're more than half there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All righty. Well, let's cover that resolution.
No, we're not going to pass a resolution before we look at that policy.
No, I'm sorry. I meant the bank signers.
Huh?
I meant the 2020-006. I'm
okay.
willing to discuss that one. That was it. Has everybody read so pretty much we're taking Shelby off of as a second signer and we're putting on Ted or Scott with
Who?
one of our,
Preferably Ted and Scott, so that if Ted's not available, Scott can sign.
yeah. Does anybody have any objections or want to comment on that? If not, I'll take a motion to approve it.
Sorry, I was trying to talk and I didn't have it on. I muted myself. So if Ted can't sign, Scott will. So that'll be one signer, and then the other signer will have to be one of us 5. It can't
Yes.
just be Ted sign and Scott sign.
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how this is written, but that's a no.
Actually, you know what? It is written that way.
Okay, then that's a no.
Correct. It's supposed, is it supposed to be either two of the board members or does it, and then
That
or
should,
go ahead.
should be Ted or Scott in that third paragraph.
Okay. The bot, what, she's saying this one. She's saying 1, 2, 3, Ted or Scott.
Yeah, well, probably there and the bottom,
Okay.
right? Should be Ted or Scott in the third paragraph and then employees. Oh, no, that's Ted and Scott, that's
I
right.
think it needs to be Ted and Scott on that one, and then on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th is where you would specify that it's any two of the following directors and employees, one being board member, one being an employee or something like that in there.
No, this isn't written right at all. Is it? Because if you read that part, I think you guys are reading, therefore be it resolved as of any two of the following directors and employees are authorized to sign. And what it needs to say is one director and one employee.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's the way, what's it always said, but I think that's what it's always been, is one employee and one director.
So it couldn't be two directors,
We've never, I
nor
don't think
two.
we've ever hunted up two of us. Lynn, are you there and listening?
Yes, I am. It should be either two directors or one director and one employee, I think.
I agree, because I remember in the past signing with Karen.
Okay,
Yeah.
So any two directors
One
or
director.
one employee.
and you know, there has to be minutes to go with this when you take it to the bank.
Yes. So the only other question I have is, it's listing Lynn as a signer, but if we're not swearing her in tonight, she can't be listed as a signer.
Well,
That was gonna be my,
I don't see how you're going to approve something that's not right anyway.
Yeah, we're not going to.
I mean, this isn't like the minutes that you go ahead and approve and change later.
so do we have a policy that we follow right now for signing things?
Most of the time, it's always been Lynn, one of the employees, which most of the time was Lynn, and like I was the director's or whatever position and I signed, or if I wasn't available, Krista or somebody else signed.
I guess my question is that if we don't approve this tonight and we wait till it gets corrected, are we gonna be able to function between now and January?
Yes, we should be
Yes.
able to. Mhm. On our current one.
Okay, well then I would say that we need to wait till we get Lynn officially in and get the wording correct, and then adopt everything in January, if we can function till then.
Yeah, I think we'll just go on just like we've always went. Until then.
All right, let's add it to the, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the notes for new business in January then.
Okay.
So
No, no.
so what are we, What is our new business that says rec center membership, Scott and Shelby? I guess before you get into that, I wanted to point out to David that, I don't know if anybody told you, but if you're on the board, you should have free membership to the rec center.
They told me that, but I declined and paid anyways because I need to make money.
You're a good man.
Don't let that get out.
Okay, I promise. All right, so rec center membership, Scott and Shelby, what is that?
You wanna go ahead and start it?
Okay, sorry here. So this kind of brings back what we've kind of briefly discussed a little bit here and there about what we're going to do with our memberships that we have currently that have been on hold. And the reason this is coming up, well, there's a lot of reasons. One is that we're coming up close to a year. March will be a year on hold. And we have some that we have allowed to continue that didn't want their memberships on hold. Some want their memberships on hold. And it's starting to get very convoluted. It's getting very hard to track. Pretty soon we're going to overlap that year and really feel like we need to make a decision here on what we're going to do and how we want to proceed from here. I can tell you this by just doing some research that there are other groups out there who did what we did and other groups that didn't even go that far where they just said, this is what we offer now. Membership stays the same, prices stay the same. It is what it is. Other groups have done what we're doing and they're struggling with the same issue, needing to change this up a little bit because it is getting really hard to keep this all straight. And that's not even counting our corporate memberships. That's family, youth, seniors, adults, all of them. And the discussion here should be, well, several parts to this. A, there is 1, 2, and 3 options here, just to give you some ideas of what we could do. If you want my recommendation, I feel option 3, which is open it up, let them use their memberships starting the first of the year. And when their membership's over, they have an opportunity to get their membership back again. But what we can offer is what we can offer. We don't know what COVID's going to do. I mean, it's went longer than a lot of us thought it was going to go. And now we're in a freeze. How long is that freeze really going to last? When's it going to happen again? Your guess is as good as mine. But we need to clear this up. And to go further than that, a lot of these members, quite a few of them, aren't opening their memberships up because of 24-hour access, which I think is a big deal for a lot of them. I remember when we first started this, we were looking at 24-hour access, and that was a big selling point for a lot of people here. So have an option for that as well. We could offer 24-hour access with minimum use. It wouldn't be 5 or 7 nights a week, recommending 5 nights a week. Basically, it's going to cover from midnight Sunday night until we open up on Saturday morning throughout the unmanned hours. We can do that securely with 2 people. We will, if these folks bring back their memberships and continue, we will not lose money on that project because it will pay for the plus. But I think that's the biggest holdup for a lot of these folks who are not using their membership again. It's still on hold because we're not offering everything we can. Will we be ever able to offer everything again? Who knows? We may be, but right now, what we're not offering is 24-hour, the climbing wall, and the slide. That's what we're not offering. So the climbing wall and the slide is not a big selling factor here. Out of those 3, it's the 24-hour use. And I think we can offer that. And I think we should move forward and just say, okay, first of the year, everybody's membership's off hold. We continue from there. If after that, and we are forced to close permanently again, or, well, not permanently, but close our doors for undisclosed amount of time, then everybody's put on hold at one time together, no questions asked, And then when we open again, they all start again. That way it keeps easy to track and we don't lose sight on some of these people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, no. So what you said is that at the end of the year, everybody's membership is finished. Is that right?
They're
And
not
then
on
you'll-
hold any longer.
What?
We would take them off of hold. They have the option. It's gonna start for whatever they have left over at the first of the year. That's what I'm suggesting, that it takes off a hold and those days start going for whatever they have left. And then they need to buy their membership again as soon as that time period is over for whatever time they have left. And it's not even with everybody. It's all over the board.
So. Okay.
What he's trying to say is there's still, from when we first shut down in March, when we opened back up in June, there was people that asked to be optionally put on hold instead of restarting their membership at that time. And there's still, as you can see, 132 memberships still on hold at this point from March, and they're not wanting to restart. It's becoming very difficult to track who's on hold, who has time left, and who doesn't.
Well, I think if we're gonna open back up 24/7 in January, we'll know if those people are gonna come back or not.
I'm suggesting that we open 24 hours, David, but I'm not suggesting that we open it 7 days a week. We could, more
That was
employees.
mis- Yeah, that was a misspeak on my behalf. I know what you're saying, Sunday to Friday night. So yeah, 24/5.
Yeah, the biggest concern at this point is these people haven't come and asked for a refund, but
Right.
at what point are they going to start asking for a refund? Because we're not offering the services that they pay for. And that's what we were trying to convey here, is how much money we have sitting here for services that people paid for that they're not getting, that they could come and ask for a refund for.
Trying to be proactive here.
Well, I would make sure that, whatever decision is made, make sure we're communicating with that 132 and the 184 people.
Right.
And I'm
Well, and
sure
that's what,
some of them are the same people, I'm sure.
no, actually, they're not. Cynthia and I spent a good 6 days combing through reports, and none of them are duplicated.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, but that's why we're bringing it to you tonight, so that we do have, a month's time to communicate to all of our members and let them know what's going to be happening starting January 1, so that they have time to know and be notified.
So what option are you proposing then? Well, I mean, you put 3 in front of us. Which one do you want?
I'm proposing option 3.
And I agree.
Was it in writing somewhere? Is that
The supplemental
that
information,
additional information was?
the supplemental information I sent over this afternoon, it was included in that.
Because I couldn't figure that out at all. Okay.
So I guess that's one of my complaints, you guys, that things that, Karen's mentioned that before, when you guys send things the day of our meeting, it's a little hard to get to them. So you're gonna have to remember that we need them ahead of time in order to review them.
They noted.
Well, so what was the one that looked like the one just before that says something like public meeting and public records and all that? What was that for?
That's the table of contents to discuss the park policy handbook, the sections.
See, what we did is just the personnel policy of a bigger district-wide policy, and this table of contents is what's in that. This is what special districts has done, and we can modify that to suit our needs. We just wanted you to
Okay.
see how large that is. It's going to take some time for us to go through it, but we've done the personnel policy, and now there's the rest of this that should be done.
We're through page 57 or 59, right? Then we just have to take off with the elections and everything else.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm with you now.
Okay, let's go back to membership, 24-hour access stuff.
Scott, I mean, you're in charge of that facility, so I guess I feel like if that's what you want to do, then
well, you
I
guys,
think it's our best move. I mean, I can give you approximate total here, well, actually a good total, not counting corporate, of about over $13,000 that it's still in the books from people who have their memberships on hold. And I don't think we want to start looking at trying to refund all that. We need to have a decision here. We need to move forward, and I think we should move forward now. I don't think we should go into past a full year's worth of collecting and accumulating this backlog.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think the no refunds, just get it started first of the year. And let the memberships know that their 24-hour access is back on starting first of the year, and it's going to reduce, how much money they've saved, paid ahead for the 24-hour access. When it's done, that's over.
Well, okay, I know that the city of Boardman paid their memberships and probably until last month. We had continued every month to send you the money. So are you thinking that we would be good all the way till September or October of next year?
We actually had you guys stop in July because you guys you're paid so far ahead, and you just restarted at the end of October. So you're finally caught up, but now we have this 2-week closure, so you're actually good through the middle of December again because of the 2-week closure.
Okay.
God, are we sure we're gonna probably be opened up the 1st of January? What are you hearing from different people about? Are we gonna, after this 2 weeks is up, are we gonna roll into another 2 weeks?
I hear it's good potential. That's what I hear.
Yeah, I think everybody's so discouraged that they think this will go on until at least past Christmas, like into the first of the year.
And that's another reason why I don't want to start it right now. I'm hoping, thinking positive, that we'll be able to do this the first of the year.
Okay, I guess I'm in support of doing number 3, but whenever we can open up. So if we get rolled into the middle of January before we can open up, I think that we take off on 3. That's my idea. Whenever we can open up for 24-hour service.
I'm with Boar.
yeah, I agree.
Just as long as I'm not playing pickleball.
Oh, no, you're in pickleball, buddy. You and me.
All right, well, there you go, Scott.
All
So
right,
do
thank
we
you.
need to make a motion and approve it that we're gonna let Scott, or just word of
No,
mouth?
I
that
mean,
gonna-
No, that's
We
part of his
didn't-
job.
We didn't make a motion when we put it on hold, so.
All right, that's fine.
I just want you guys involved.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like being informed, but I kind of agree with Krista. You're in charge of that facility, so if that's your recommendation, I'll support it.
Thank you.
So I have a question real quick. So Karen had Shelby send out the LB1 form,
Yes,
and she had mentioned that it should be posted in the newspaper as to how much we will.
during our budget hearings. That's my understanding of the budget law.
Yeah, it's posted in the newspaper so that everybody, this is just our budget that everybody can see.
Okay, so tell me why we wanted this.
Well, I haven't had time to look at it, but I'm a little curious about how much taxes we are collecting compared to what we say. So whenever I'm gonna talk to Mike Gorman, because we got last month, we got what our assessment was going to be.
Yeah,
And so I'm going to ask him, because it says current year property tax estimated to be received for this year is $1,186,581. And I don't see a figure like that on his report. So I don't know what that means. So I wanted to see the difference.
okay.
I wanted to see what we said in the paper. Because when I go back and I look at our budget, it doesn't necessarily say how much it takes for us to, how many tax dollars it takes to balance our budget. This is where we estimate the amount of tax dollars it takes. So anyway, that was why I wanted it, and I'll look into it and let you
Okay.
know what it says.
Thank you. I was always open to learning about that.
And you need to, Krista.
Yeah,
You got-
zip it, George. Zip it. All right. Do we have any other new business? Can you guys think of any other new business that we need to talk about?
I guess that if Shelby, if you're gonna send out information like this you did today, maybe if you type a little, like, what it's about, because to be honest, I didn't have any idea what all those pages were listed for. And yeah, anyway, it would be helpful, because I could probably read it better.
All right. So Ted, you were saying that the table of contents that Shelby sent out, that is the table of contents for the employee handbook?
No, this is, well, there's two things. The personnel policy, okay, that's what we've been working on this last month. And I think you guys got that a week or two ago. So that's the personnel policy that special districts put out that we modified to suit our needs here. And it's pretty close to, what special districts did. Now, that was only part of a bigger district-wide policy. Okay, and the district-wide policy is all this table of contents. And it's and it's stuff that probably should be put in, a district-wide policy.
So, sorry to interrupt you, but so what I received was the employee handbook.
Right. That's a personnel policy.
Okay,
That's just a part of this entire district-wide policy, okay? And you can see the headings, you know, there's policy about accounting, a policy about budgeting, a policy about contracting, you know, investments, grants, public meetings, and public records, okay? This is something that special districts, you know, had written up for a sample for other districts like us that we can use for our own policy in our own district. So far, what we've done is the personnel section of it is the only thing we've done. We
and
haven't
what
done,
part is that?
Huh?
What part is that? Elections format. Where is that in the table of contents?
It doesn't show it. This is the most recent table of contents, and SDAO has separated the personnel part out of their district policy book.
But it's in here, though.
That's- I know. The 2010 book was the one that we were looking at earlier. So we just wanted you guys to see that this is the next thing we're going to be working on in the different sections that will be coming your guys' way over the next couple months.
yeah, so Shelby, Scott, and I will be taking one for the team by having to do this boring information. So,
I appreciate your efforts.
We're going to bestow the boring reading onto you guys for approval.
we'll do it in small portions so it doesn't, you won't want to kill yourself.
For us.
All right, well, where did you get the employee handbook from? Where did you draw that from
Special
special
district?
districts? And
Yeah.
then you entered in what we're currently doing then?
Yes.
So,
So what
This-
part of this are we currently doing?
The personnel policy.
No, I know that.
so
Oh,
you're saying,
Don't worry about the table of contents right now. You know, the personnel policy was part of a whole district-wide policy, okay? And you guys have that. We finished that and gave it to you, and that's what we're discussing now. This other stuff we'll do incrementally and give it to you. But it is time.
Make sure that you, when you look at this, that you think about the size of the district you're in.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is just, looks like 145 pages of other stuff to do.
Yeah, because I don't see personnel listed in this at all.
No, it's not. This is
Okay,
in the one,
more work.
well, in the one that we did, I think it was a 2019 version. It had the personnel policy. That was the last part of the table of contents. Yeah, and it's not in here, but it is part of the whole.
So if I followed you correctly, the personnel policy has been separated out from the SDO, AO, other stuff. So we're gonna look at adopting the personnel booklet tonight, and then we'll get the rest of this at future dates to adopt.
Yes. That's exactly right.
And I'm gonna guess that the reason they separated out the personnel packet is because that's probably where they get most of their headaches at.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's what we've been pushing for.
Yeah, and so we worked on it quite a bit. So, and we modified it or made it to suit our district the way, you know, we thought it would work, would work for us. So
So
Well,
do me,
Through it, I thought it was pretty well in depth and at least it's a body to start with.
so my
So are we
question,
gonna go through it page by page? Because if we are, we need to get started. Well, then I'm gonna start. I guess if you go to, if in page number 3 of, in the beginning, it says overview and introductions and general personnel. And it says board of directors and the district manager / director shall have authority. So is district manager and director, does that mean, who is the director?
That's Scott, is the rec center director. So, I mean, because he's essentially in charge of, you know, the rec center, which is, most of our personnel are there.
Right.
So that's why we put that. We could clarify that, say rec center director or whatever.
I guess when it goes on to say the okay, shall have the authority over all the matters of the personnel administration through adoption and implementation of the district budget, pay plans, and ordinances and resolutions adopting and or amending the personnel rules and regulations. I think that's one thing for him to have authority over the rec center. I'm not so sure. I think he has any authority over the marina.
yeah, I agree. I mean, that, yeah,
And when it goes down, now I turned the page to page 4, and I'm looking just above the word, there's hiring practices and processes in bold print. The paragraph just above that says labor negotiations, including the settlement of any grievances after the grievances have been denied by the board or a committee thereof, must and in every instance shall be approved by the board of directors before the district may be bound. So who's involved in the labor negotiations? And I don't want to, I want to move on. So I just wanted that, there's a question for you.
Well, it would be Scott and
Now,
I.
the next question,
Yeah.
the next question is, I'm probably, let's see, 1, 2, I'm in the 3rd paragraph from the bottom and the 2nd sentence from the bottom. And I'm questioning if we've ever followed this policy and if we intend to follow it. However, in conformity with the relevant immigration status and regulations, our policy is to hire only those who are eligible to work in the United States. I
Right.
think we need to be really careful. If that's going to be our policy, then we need to make sure it's our policy.
Well, it should be everybody's policy, because if you're not eligible to work in this country, you know, not here, you know, documented, you're not allowed to work, right? I mean, sometimes somebody has a fake green card. You know, have you ever seen a real one? I think there's more fake ones than real ones. But, you know, it is our policy to hire people who are can legally work in this country. It should be.
So then what are we hiring independent for?
Because there's, I don't know.
Their contracts.
They legally can do that.
We're doing it to circumvent that rule. Anyway. I guess on the next page 5, have we ever thought about the ADA? I know when we built the office and stuff, we had to make sure that the restrooms and stuff were compatible. Is that, okay, I don't want us to be putting more in here than we are going to live up to. Because it seems to me like you open a can of worms if you say this is my policy and you don't do it. I think you're better off to leave it out of a policy.
That's a personnel policy. ADA, I think you have to have it in there.
Okay.
But, our offices are fine. Bathrooms were grandfathered in because they were built in the 1970, down in the marina anyway. Everything else is good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good, actually.
Do we, does our insurance run our employees' driver's license records for us?
No,
Not unless, yeah, not unless we provide them with a list of drivers.
Okay, then my next question is, why don't we do that?
We definitely can.
And we should,
And we
if that's
should.
part of their job, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, half the kids in town have learned how to drive on our rigs.
that's
The
for sure.
transmissions all prove it.
Yeah. I don't mean to laugh, but that's true.
Well, it is true.
They learn how to
But
run.
I just know that sometimes, okay, if you send them like to the police department or somebody, I don't even know if they'll run them for you, but they'll charge you. But used to be your insurance company would run them for you because they wanted to make sure that you had licensed qualified drivers. So anyway, I'm up to page 7. Oh, I know. It says there's a lot of notice in here about doing written notices. And so do you intend to do this many written notices? Because here it says no employee will be deemed a regular and no longer probationary employee until the district has so determined and notified the employee in writing. And as you go back through the policy farther and farther, it mentions lots of things that you're going to write down and give them a copy of. So Ted, are you in the mood for writing?
No.
Well, that's what I
No.
I want you guys to think about these things,
Well, I know that's,
because
we
there's
didn't,
a lot of stuff that's a lot of work.
I know this is not a perfect
here.
policy that we modified. It's one that we knew you're going to have questions on that you might want changed because we didn't really know the answer to. So you guys can look
A lot
over.
of these things, Ted, can be covered by that new personnel change sheet that I typed up.
Okay.
And I do give notices when they're done with their probationary period. And I usually also give a letter in the middle of the probationary period telling them that they have halfway through the probationary period.
Well, I just know that if we say that you're going to need to do that.
I've been doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Scott's been doing it. I have not. I don't think I've ever done it.
Well, and see, here's what I'm coming from. That to me, this is two entirely different if these were businesses, they're two different businesses entirely.
Right.
And so it makes it kind of hard to write one policy that covers both of the entities here.
It is. You know, it's because I have mostly seasonals. Okay.
Right.
And, you know, and they work 3 months. You know, what's their probationary period?
Well, that's why I'm asking you, because we either need to be really clear that park employees would follow these rules and rec center employees would follow these. But I think it seemed to me like we were trying to mirror them together.
And that was part of it. We are trying to put them together because we are one district. And our employees are seeing that there is a rift between the park and the pool. And we're trying to amend that by making them realize that they need to all follow the same rules. It shouldn't be the park follows different rules versus the pool.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of work for me.
I've been doing most of those for you though.
I know. I'm glad you're here.
Well, okay, let's go to page 8 then. And it says full-time hourly. Because salaried exempt is pretty clear who falls into that. And it says an employee who is regularly scheduled to work more than 35 hours a week. This classification is eligible for the following benefits: vacation, sick leave, and the deferred comp.
Yes, we put that in there because we do have full-time employees that are here year round. They put in the time and there's really no incentive for them to stay. We want them to stay if they're going to be a good full-time employee. And that's why we put that in there, to be able to start offering them at least vacation and the ability to put in to the deferred comp as an incentive to stay with us.
Well, I don't know if we got rich overnight here.
No. I think we can put into the deferred comp, or they can, without us contributing.
That is correct. The deferred comp is them
I
putting it.
understand the comp. I am more curious about vacation and sick leave, because at the rec center, I can see them wanting a vacation if they work all year. At the park, I think that you're going to need to take your vacation in the winter. Who would fall under an hourly employee at the marina?
Gino.
Okay, and so he takes vacation.
During hunting season.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can
Yeah.
do, you know,
And then Lily is the other one that would be at the park. Because they have some people during the busy.
Okay, we'll get over to how you get to have sick leave and vacation. So,
see, this is one of the things we weren't sure about that we figured you would have questions on.
yes, okay.
So I guess my question is, I have a question about our salaried employees. So who are the salaried employees at the rec center?
It's Scott, Tessa, Nicole, and Cynthia. So there's 4 of them.
Has Nicole's position always been a salaried position?
From day one.
Yes.
And so who's their salaried at the marina?
Yeah.
Ted and Imelda,
Say, okay, Ted,
myself and Imelda.
Imelda. And how many full-time do we, how many full-time hourlies do we have each?
At each of them,
Yeah,
there would just be 2 at the park, right, Ted?
Right, Gino and Lily.
And currently, we only have 2.
Gino and who?
Lily.
Lily. And there's only 2 currently at the rec center. The most, how many would you have?
Pardon me?
At the most, how many would you have full time?
We've had, well, when we're full operational, I think we had 4.
Okay, so when we're full operational, Scott says 4 full-time hourlies at the pool.
Which we may never get to again.
Right.
So here's my question. What have you added in here that's new? Like, are you guys all getting these current benefits right now? You're
The
getting
salary-
vision?
The
You're
vision
getting-
is in our health.
Say that again?
The vision is included in our health insurance. And yes, we have the option to get dental, and then everything else we are already getting. The only thing that we added was for the full-time hourly to have the ability to do vacation, to earn vacation time, and to put into our deferred comp.
Okay, let's turn the page. In the employment of relatives, it says something about present employees who marry will be permitted to continue to work if they do not work in a direct supervisory relationship with one another or otherwise create a potential conflict. Employees will be allowed to accept transfers. So
where are they gonna transfer to?
I don't know, you know,
Could transfer between the park and the pool, different departments.
what?
They could transfer between departments.
Okay.
I don't necessarily like the fact that we would have 2 married people working even in the same area, whether one's above or below each other. I don't know that that's something that I like.
No,
Well,
I know
That's
in
my-
Oklahoma City, you can't, yeah, the nepotism thing isn't, and you know that when you start dating, that one of you might have to look for a different job.
right. No, this was in the CEO's policy, okay? And I know people dating are even worse than people married, I think.
Concerned to know.
Yeah, so I don't know, we can leave that out, say, or change it. That's okay.
I'm opposed to it. So we'll need to come back to that probably.
Okay.
Well, right now, do we have anybody that's even dating each other?
Not that we're
I don't think
aware
you-
of.
I don't know that you can ask that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Well, I just did. Because, I mean, is it even a factor that we have right now?
Not right now.
No, that isn't what you write a policy for, Scheimer. You write a policy for what ifs.
Oh, I get that.
Okay, let's go to page 10 and removal of documents. Oh, and I guess I just wanted to make sure that you took them out and put them into that separate file. That they weren't, and I see in here that you did mention that medical records have to be separate from personnel records. So I think if you go to page 13, it said rest period. And I think it says employees may take a paid 15-minute. I don't think it's may, I think it's must. The federal law is the fact that you have to make sure that they are supposedly taking their rest period and eating their lunch.
Uh-huh. I agree.
On page 14, under
I have a-
meals, it says, oh, okay.
Sorry, I have a question. So back on number 10, the removal of documents. So what's to stop a corrupt district manager or director from removing things? I'm not saying Scott or Ted are. I'm just saying what's to stop them from doing that?
Like removing what from what?
You're basically giving the district manager and director the right, because you're saying determination by the district manager to remove things that are not accurate. But if you don't document what you're removing, then how do you ever know that the district manager had the authority to even remove it in the first place?
Well, the authority would be in the policy. You know,
I think there's a time limit too, that you can keep stuff in a file. If, say, I discipline you today and 5 years you're still working for me, I think that you can have, but usually it's up to you. And I think it's covered over here in some other part, that you can go in and ask to have that stuff removed. And then, yeah, but like you say, if you guys just come and take stuff out of the file and don't leave a piece of paper that said, you know, papers removed, separate file or something.
well, that can easily be changed.
Yes.
If we remove something, we put a document in there that says such and such a file was removed because of this. I don't know. I didn't think about that too much.
It just needs to be documented. I mean, what if you had a document in there about sexual harassment, or a notation about, I don't know, anything like that? It needs to be documented if you're going to remove it. That's just my opinion. Anyway, we'll go on to what Karen said.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on 14 and I'm under meals. And it says employees will be allowed a per diem rate $55 a day. When the receipts, do you off that? Do you pay per diem?
Well,
Have you ever paid per diem?
when we go to conferences, you know, there are meals that we have to buy. Okay. And you do pay that.
Right, you pay for the meal. you do not pay them $55 whether
No.
they eat or not. If my mother lives in that town and I'm staying with her, I don't get to collect $55 a day.
No, it's not.
Correct.
You're right. It wasn't supposed to say that. It's supposed to say up to $55 per day, reimbursed.
Okay,
You have to show receipts for that.
Yeah, we have to have a receipt. That's the way we've always done it.
right. That I'll pay for your meal. And people are always pretty conscientious. If I
Yeah.
don't eat breakfast and I don't eat lunch, maybe I can have steak for supper.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna get $55 and eat at mama's house.
No, that's not what we intended on that at all.
Okay. Okay, now we're getting to the real crux of the benefits. On page 15. I think that under the 457B pension plan, it says enrollment is complete once the employee has completed 1,000 hours. I think that needs to say 2,000 or 1 year employment, because 1,000 hours, a year's employment is 2,080. And I don't think 1,000 hours is enough if the or is 1 year. And I don't think the or ought to be a half a year.
I pulled our full agreement that was set up when we did this. And that's the language that's in there. It says 1,000 hours within your first year or 1 full year of employment. So you just have to complete 1,000 hours in your first year of employment to be qualified to get that.
I thought we were changing the policy.
She's suggesting.
Yeah, I agree with Karen. I don't think that somebody being there for 6 months should be able to pull that.
Because I don't want to pay you 7%. If you work 6 months, you hardly know your job by the end of 6 months.
Was that pension agreement a contracted issue?
No, I think
We've never had a contract with the employees.
no, I think that was with, Valak. That's what we wrote when we first did it. And there was 3 employees, that had been working there for many years when we did it. So like we were vested right away, and we didn't know much about retirement programs or anything. So I think we can change that.
Well,
Well, and
if it doesn't impact anybody, change it now and then in the future, we
Right.
got it there.
Yeah.
Nicole?
She's already in there. Can't take it away.
So we can change that.
I think it needs to be changed because I think 7% is a really nice match
It is.
to begin with.
It is.
It's a lot.
And what?
It's a lot. I agree with you. That's a very nice package to give somebody. I just don't think 6 months cuts it.
Yeah, that's either.
That's fine. We can change that.
Okay, so now let's go down to what does our vacation say now? Is there anything written about how if you work there 2 years, how much vacation you get, and if you work 10, how much you get?
No.
No.
Okay, well, who came
Okay,
up with
that's-
these figures?
Scott, Ted and I did. The salaried ones, we came up based off of what everybody already currently gets.
Well, I know that the city, if you work for the city, you don't get this.
This is better. Yeah, it's better than what I get.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you guys are already getting paid this, who came up with that idea? This is a lot of time, a lot of vacation time for very little service. And the fact that it's accruing from day one is another thing that I don't agree with. I don't know why we're paying vacation time for people who are on probationary period. But I think that those weeks are a little much for that amount of time, I guess.
Okay.
Well, 10 hours, okay, 10 hours a month is 120.
It's 3 weeks.
So that means the first year I work here, I get 3 weeks vacation.
You
Yes,
think that's too much?
Oh,
Yeah.
that is most definitely too much.
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what was
And-
written in my offer letter.
Okay, let me tell you something. When I started here, I got no holidays. I worked every single holiday.
I
Okay?
know, you were like the slave indentured.
And I worked Saturdays. So I worked 6 days a week. You know, there were times, the first 2 summers, I put 300 hours of overtime in just in the summer. Okay? And then I got a month vacation. And nothing's really changed since then, except I get more vacation and I will still work every single holiday. All right. And so I'm looking at this from my own perspective, which was imposed upon me when I got hired here. All right. And I think we can change this. I don't think 3 a year is too much myself, but we can change this to whatever you want. And we knew you're going to have arguments about a lot of stuff. You know, this is one of them, and that's okay. So we got to look at the holidays, which I've never given my employees really that much until recently.
Well, we're coming to that page. So,
Well, and we're also, bringing up a good point, Ted, that the park is different from the rec center. We're not open all of the holidays on the rec center. We're not open, you know what I mean? I feel like the park is different from the rec center.
Well, it is.
I understand your point of view, but I don't feel like your point of view is applicable to the rec center.
Okay. Well, it's different. It's
And-
a different work environment. I mean, we're a 24-hour business. You know, I have employees more than half that time. I have to work every holiday in the summer.
I
But they
guess
do-
my 2 cents on this is I like to reward people that have been here a long time. I think we're way too rewarding in the first 5 years. The last 3 columns, I'm not as hung up on it as much because if you've been here for 5 years, you've shown some loyalty. I think we need to show you some loyalty. But I do agree the 0 to 5 years, 10 hours per month is too much.
Okay.
Well, especially when you're giving sick comp time on top of that.
well,
That's
and then I think the other thing we have to think about is if you don't use it, you lose it.
okay.
Because
I agree.
What?
Well, my start date was March 5th, 1990. Okay.
Ted, we can't talk about you. We took terrible advantage of you. And I think we all, or at least people like me that have been here, we know how much we took advantage of you. I'm going to talk about we're setting a policy for whatever's coming, because there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and we're
That-
not changing you.
But
I mean,
we
even
don't
if we have-
want to. You
Yeah.
end up with a huge liability. The park, if you don't take your vacation, and you end up with 300 hours of vacation, you know, that's going to cost the park, you know, $20,000 the day you
Yeah.
leave.
Well,
And so I think you have to start, like I say, you have to think about the employees you're going to hire, what their jobs are going to be. And like with the park, a lot of times, you know, like we used to make you take your vacation in the dead of the winter.
right.
But, you know, maybe there are other times that you can work out not being here.
No, I actually do that now, okay? But let's
What?
actually
I can't hear.
ignore, let's actually ignore me and talk about real regular people.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about somebody that I took advantage of. I want to talk about real regular people.
Yeah, real regular people.
Because, and 240 hour, when this says salary with the asterisk that says exempt, employees can accrue vacation on a rolling basis and have a cap of 240, that's 6 weeks.
Right.
And from managing the park, I wouldn't want you to leave. I wouldn't want to have nobody showing up to do anybody that's an exempt employee's position for 6 weeks
Right. See,
before they leave.
remember the old policy said you take vacation between December 1st and March 1st, 6 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. That was the vacation time.
Well, I
But
think
that's the old policy. But we're doing a new policy. Let's work this out.
So I guess
Okay,
my question is for the employees that already fall within that 0 to 5 years have been granted 10 hours a month, are they gonna be grandfathered? in?
I think you, Shelby, were the only person that we've hired that has had an offer of employment. Scott, did we give you any kind of an offer of employment when we hired you?
It did, yes.
And does it say something about the amount of vacation and stuff you get? And when you should get your raise increases and stuff?
Didn't say anything about my raise increases. It did say vacation time.
And do you know what it says?
3 weeks.
For what?
I have yet. Pardon me?
It's 3
3
weeks from the beginning?
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but if you remember, I didn't take any vacation at all for the first 2 years.
No. We're not questioning it. We just want to know what it was. So it was 3 weeks from the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't mind. I kind of agree with Mr. Bohr. I don't mind when you get to the 10 and the 15 year marks, but I just had an issue with those first two. I had an issue with the first 2 lines. Especially since sick time is on top of that. And nobody ever gets sick that many hours in a month. So you're giving them free vacation on top of the stuff they've earned.
No, they can't. Well, I don't know, but I know at the city, sick time is sick time and you can't use it doing anything else.
Well, who's monitoring them?
Well, people like me.
You're stalking them
What
on
do you
social
think?
media.
That's probably-
Yeah, I worked at a company in Bend and everybody got sick at the end of the year. So it's not, they're not,
Yeah.
that's not, that nobody gets sick 8 hours a month. I guess that's 1 day a month. I guess I've never been that sick, but
Okay, well, and then when you go to that full-time non-exempt and you turn the page, it says that they can have a cap of 180 hours. And so that's 4.5 weeks.
For how many years of work?
It doesn't say, it just says that's all you can have. So, but see, well, 4.5 weeks would be 180 hours. So that would be the, what, the 15 hours a month? So that'd be between, yeah, you'd have to be not taking hardly any, this is letting you roll part of your vacation over, I guess is what it says. That in any of these respects, because even on the very first one that gets 10 hours a month, see, that's 120 hours. So you could not take a vacation, like for 2 years and have enough time to,
Manager should be paying attention to that.
I don't know, you guys, somebody needs to work on that.
yeah, I agree.
So
Well,
is the
so-
issue how much leave we're giving them or how much they can accrue,
It's,
or both?
Oh,
it's the cap. They can accrue vacation on a rolling basis and have a cap of 180 hours.
Well, to me, the vacation shouldn't be that high of a cap. Again, that's a lot of time. Sick leave, it should always roll over. And I think by law, it has to roll over.
Yeah.
But there's no reason a person should have 6 weeks of vacation time rolled into the next year. And, unless you plan on retiring 2 years early by the time you put 30 years in.
Right. No, I agree with that. I mean, there's got to be a cap somewhere.
Well, these caps are too high.
Okay, this is questions we've always had too, and.
Well, isn't that why we were doing this?
Yeah, that's, we're looking at it from an employee perspective too, which is not the greatest thing, for benefits.
So, okay, now we're down to holiday benefits. And like I say, Ted can't be included in this at all. So
Yeah.
when you have the regular employees work on the 4th of July, are you paying them time and a half?
No,
What?
no, I'm not.
Really?
Am I supposed to?
Well, are you giving them, okay, did they work more than 40 hours that week with 4th of July in it?
Well, if they did, there's some that do, and they do get time and a half, okay?
Okay.
But I've always looked at it as just a regular day. But here's what I've been
Sit up
doing.
cl-
Here's what I've been
Sit up
doing.
closer to your microphone.
Oh, so what I've been doing, Thanksgiving, 2 days, it's Christmas, 2 days, New Year's, 2 days, and then another couple random holidays. So they're getting about 8, I think, 8, 9.
Well, there's 9 listed here. And like you say, you can take off New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and probably Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
Labor and Memorial Day and Independence Day.
Well, they have to work because that's busy days for us.
Right.
Six.
But, you know, we're different than the rec center again on this.
Line two.
And that's why it's specified. It is specified there.
We're open day after Independence, Memorial Day.
Well, that's why the star called it, says star holidays.
Are you going to start comp time? Because boy, I would tell you not to. In the first place, you have to keep track of it, and your vacation is way too good anyway. And so pretty soon what you have is people, you know, using their comp time and not using their vacation time and then wanting to cash out their vacation time. Because vacation time, you're going to pay them for it.
Right.
I mean, when they leave, if they have 500 hours, you're going to pay them 500 hours worth. And
Well, no,
so
but-
comp time, I
No,
think you just pay them. If they work, I think you just have to pay them and bite the bullet that day. And I don't, whatever the rest of you think is all right. But I wouldn't, and that way you don't have to worry about that cap of 40 hours, which is another week.
well, comp time, I don't have comp time myself. It's just, they get paid, you know, on the next paycheck.
Yeah. And I think I agree with that. I think that's better than doing more bookkeeping and getting more time.
Oh, yeah.
Because pretty soon, you're practically paying people to not show up.
Right. I agree with that. Sure.
And your job, and like down there, you need people to work.
Yeah.
Scott, how you been doing it with people that have been working more than they're 40?
Well, I try not to work that more than 40. I usually try to find other people to take that spot. But when it does, very seldom does it happen, I have had to pay overtime, especially when we've had an issue with a pool or something like that. I've had to do that, but it hasn't happened very often.
Okay, so you don't even do comp time either.
No, I haven't done comp time.
Good, let's make sure you cut that. I'd cut that out then. If no one's using it, that's great. That's an easy fix.
Well, and you know, comp time is an hour and a half. You know, I mean, it's not like you're cheating them out of the money. They
No, I
get
think,
an hour and a half time for every hour. So you just as well pay it and not have to keep track of it.
right. Yeah, I've never had an issue with that myself. It's, you know, they work overtime, they get paid it, and everybody's happy with that.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue. I mean, I'm not saying there won't be sometime, but I think just pay it.
I'm on page 17 and under the leave of absence, and I have to say I was really happy, mark your calendar here, that you had, it was pretty clear about OFLA and stuff in this policy. And I think that's really good because OFLA is really hard to understand and hard to figure out about who gets what and how much time you get and stuff like that. So, and it seemed like most of that was pretty clear. And most of that between about page 18 and 32 was just like, workplace rules, which means you have to be nice to each other and those kind of things. And
Right.
so, does anybody else have anything on any of those pages?
On the veterans,
Huh?
on the veterans, it says if they don't take Veterans Day, they can choose another day. Do we have any veterans that were working for us now?
No, I don't.
No.
No, but that is something that we have to have in there.
Yeah.
It is a law.
Where did you read that they could take another day if they wanted to?
Page 16 and 17.
Well, and now that you've mentioned this, it's like Christmas. People that don't observe Christmas get to have a different day off.
What?
Oh, there's a lot of rules in rural Oregon that yeah. If I'm
Yeah.
some other national, religious, I don't have to observe.
It's a federal holiday, regardless of what it is. We don't care that it's Labor Day. We still get the day off.
Go to Seattle and see how that works for you.
Well,
What
like,
if that doesn't even make sense. You don't have to celebrate the holiday just because you have it off. It's a national holiday. Just take it off. We're not telling them they have to celebrate Christmas. We're just saying it's a national holiday.
Yeah, but then they want some other day.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I want to harass Ted some more, so let's go to page 32.
Perfect.
Is there anything in those others, because, oh, I know something. I don't know where it's at, but where are your bulletin boards down there?
well, we have two offices. The back office, we call the maintenance office. There's a bulletin board there, and then there's another one that was Lynn's old office, that small one. There's a bulletin board there.
Who do you think's going to see that one?
Nobody looks at anything. I mean, Gino goes in both the offices and he sees them both. The employees, they don't give a crap.
Okay.
But
Well, just if somebody comes, and looks, I want to make sure. And then Scott, you have them up where?
In the employee break room
Okay.
and the.
I put a sticker by this harassment one, but I don't know why. I didn't write a note on it.
This harassment policy is the one that you guys passed in September.
Right. And it's a standard harassment thing, And I think like the communication and all, I think most of this. I was curious why the word arbitration was in here on page 36. If you're not a union shop. That might be just a regular rule. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just part of the policy that was from SDAO.
So then would we want to take it out?
Well, we
Which
could,
part, Karen?
On page 36, arbitration. Arbitration is it's usually a union thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to discipline somebody and they don't like it, and then then you work, I mean, then you have to do 2 or 3 things to get to arbitration. But I would think at the park and the pool both, I can't imagine there would be,
no, I don't think we're ever going to be union here. I mean, I don't think there's a union for parkades that I know of.
Well, you still have to have
Well-
you still have to have that in there even without a union, because they have the right to settle a dispute.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we're saying though that they'd have to sue us, basically. If we take that out, they have to file a complaint against us and actually sue us for something.
Wouldn't we want to try to work it out before we got sued? Is my
yeah.
point.
okay, I don't care one way or the other. I mean, just so you think about it. And, here's some more writing for Ted. When he does the discipline counseling, he can write down his counseling and stuff. But most of that stuff that had to do with the internet and phone usage and stuff, I think you probably have to go over with them, and it needs to be in the book so that they know not to do it.
Right.
I'm on page 42 on the performance management and review. I don't have a comment. I just thought that we were making a lot of work for the managers. to
On which
do.
page, Karen?
On page 42.
A lot of work. But
What is it?
Because,
say? I don't
see,
have it.
it says managers and supervisory personnel are accountable for providing employee development actions designed to improve and enhance employees' performance, such as reasonable employee training, assigning, directing, controlling, and reviewing employees' work, assisting employees in correcting deficiencies, and objectively evaluating employees' performance during the evaluation period.
No, that's good. I like that. That's good. We do that.
Are you going to do? Huh?
We do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Oh, no, I do too. I just wanted to make sure you were doing it.
Yeah, we do. We are, because we don't want to fire. Yeah, we don't want to fire employees at all. That's a pain in the ass. So we gotta
Okay,
help them be better.
okay. All right, good. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, I even do that, man. That's like, wow.
who said that?
Okay, so on page 40 through 43 on the drug policy.
This is the city's drug policy.
I guess I'm questioning here. The conduct prohibited by this rule includes compensation for any intoxicating liquor within 4 hours of report consumption. Okay, consumption of any intoxicating liquor within 4 hours of reporting to work or during rest break or things. So I guess I was kind of questioning the 4 hours. I mean, if I have to be to work at 8, I probably, I'm not up at midnight drinking. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I could be though, come to think about it.
Yeah,
And
this cuts
I
it
was,
up. They're coming in at 8. They can be drinking till 4 in the morning, according to this policy.
ah,
This is
Yeah,
the city
see?
verbatim.
So
but we're talking about the park.
Oh.
and
So,
And
Go ahead.
so,
we can make that midnight, 8 hours or 12 hours, 8 hours probably.
For the time.
10, it's right here. It's right here.
well, see, it seems to me like, I don't know. And I did call over to the police side to see how much a .02 was. Because, to be legally, so you can't drive, it's a .08 here in Oregon.
Right.
So .02 seems to me to be not too much.
One beer for me.
Okay. The legal limit is the .08. But I can arrest somebody at a .01 for being impaired. If
Okay.
they show signs of impairment, I can arrest them. I don't have to wait to them to be at a .08. So be careful. I don't want people to think those numbers they got to be there at .08 to be intoxicated, because it's not. If they're impaired, they're impaired.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a much more difficult time convincing a jury or a judge at .02 that they were impaired.
But where that .08 comes in is with their driver's license. Okay. If I can show impairment, it don't matter what number they're at. They could be at .36, which is my highest I've had.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have to prove that they're impaired driving because of the alcohol.
Correct. That is
And
correct.
you go watch some of these people drive sober. I see them all the time and they're impaired.
Disagreeing with that.
So
Now quit talking about my driving ability.
but my whole deal is I don't care when they quit drinking. I don't want them to show up with alcohol on them. You know what I'm saying? If I drink till I'm almost dead, but I didn't go to the hospital, and then I slept for 12 hours, I'm still going to be drunk when I come to work.
Yeah.
And it's covered in here later on this. So, I mean, if they cause a problem of any sort, I mean, and there's reasonable suspicion on it, so they can be tested. Reasonable cause.
So you guys have on page 46, it's talking about post-accident testing. And it doesn't say anything about damage to, I guess, or injury to, for instance, if you had an employee at the rec center that hurt somebody else that was a member, not necessarily an employee. It just says, or result of an injury to themselves or another employee.
I thought it was
So
something more.
that would be something to add on. Another employee or patron.
I think it's when they're, when they're drying.
Yeah, it doesn't point it out. No, that's why we're going over it. Yeah, we should probably add that.
Are you on page 46?
Yes.
Is that where you're at now?
Yeah, post-accident testing.
Well, because is our health insurance, does it have, if you know somebody is drinking too much and you, like you say, you want to help them because it talks about the district will work with an employee to identify all benefits programs that are available. Do we have that kind of a benefit with your health insurance?
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
You're
know.
talking about the
Okay.
employee assistance program, Karen?
Well, I know we have one, like where, like if you're having stress or something, you can call in and go to see some counselor or something like that. And we do it through our insurance company, but I don't know if the park if SDO offers that.
I think if you're talking about the employee assistance program, I believe SCAO does offer that.
Okay. Okay. I want to go back onto page 44 for just a minute because we're talking about marijuana here and now that it's legalized and all, but it specifically says in here that it is it's still on the federal illegal offense. And that
Correct.
we're going to continue to abide by that. That you will not bring it to work or you will not, smell like you've been using it. And then it talks about, I'm probably about the second paragraph from the bottom, failure to report the side effects of a prescription or over-the-counter drug covered by the rules. I don't know if people even think that if I'm taking, if I'm taking NyQuil, do I come into Ted and say, man, I've had this awful cold and I've been taking NyQuil and probably could be a 2% alcohol thing.
I would tell you to go home,
Yeah.
Marijuana,
Okay, that's good with me.
Yeah, but marijuana, it's like, if I know, if we do a blood test and it's in their system, what do we do? Anything? There's nothing we can do.
What do you mean?
Well,
Well,
some-
that's not what your policy says.
If we prohibit it, we prohibit it.
well, I know that, but if you go home after work, you smoke a joint or whatever you do with that stupid stuff, and then we do a drug test, a couple weeks later and it's in your system, what do you do?
Well, then you change this policy is what you're going to do. Because it says that we say that it's a federal offense because it's on the federal narcotics list. And it's very clear in here, that's why I brought it up, that there's going to be consequences to that.
Yeah. See, here's an issue I might have.
You will, Ted.
Huh?
It will
No.
affect you.
A
Huh?
lot of people smoke it recreationally. I don't agree with it at all. I'm morally opposed to it. But if it's in their system, I could probably fire half my employees, maybe all of them, because it's in their system. I've never seen them smoke it, take it, or whatever they do with it. It limits you. It limits you. I'm at an impasse with this one.
Well, I agree. So why don't you call SDO? Because I think you can't have this in here, your policy that says that, because like you say, now that we've legalized it in Oregon, it really puts us in a bad spot.
It does.
Well, here's the other issue. Ted has federal property right there.
Yeah. That's the other thing. You can't do drugs on federal property, legalized in Oregon or not, I don't think.
Oh, on
Well, we're-
federal property. Oh, yeah, right.
Well, we're clear about that. Obviously, if you saw them smoking pot on their break, obviously that's an issue. But
Yes.
if, like you said, otherwise, it just comes down to reasonable cause. Like if they would have to be in an accident or something, or have a reason for us to test them in order to prove that they weren't. So are you saying that your employees have the possibility of having reasonable cause where you're going to be worried about them?
Well, there's some that are dumber than they usually are because they smoke, you know, and then there's some people that, you know, it seems like they're energized, you know, and I don't get it, you know, I mean.
Well, it's a different type of the marijuana that they're using.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the two types. There's the relaxing, psychedelic reflection, and then there is hyper get going. Yes.
Yeah. Well, if they
both-
did the hyper stuff, I'd be great with that, man. They'd be great employees. But the other stuff, oh man. So it's a tough situation. You know, I mean, we don't do drug testing here. You know, if you guys want to say every employee has to be drug tested, we can do that. You know, then we have to go from there.
Then we'll have to take more advantage of Ted and make him work more hours.
Yeah, I'll be working 24 hours. My camp hosts will be there. They'll be all right. But I don't know about anybody else.
My 2
Well,
cents on
I-
this, is
I think we need to really look at this page.
I think we need to get some guidance from SBAO. I think the reason that their language is written the way it is right here is because everybody's out there in no man's land. Because
Yeah,
if you don't, what's the insurance gonna say if you don't have something like this written in your policy? You may not be insurable.
I
If
know.
you're gonna make it loosey-goosey for people to be using drugs on the workforce, nobody's gonna wanna insure you.
I know.
I think to me, that's the question we need to ask SDAO is why is this wording the way it is? Because I'm sure there's some real reason for it. And we
Right.
know that the reality of it is that we have a lot of people in our society that are using this stuff. But
Mhm.
again, if you use it on Friday night and come to work on Monday, it's in your system still. And I
Right.
tell my students all the time when we talk about marijuana, if you can be the guy that figures out what the TH level is appropriate, I said, you're gonna make a lot of money. Cause
Yeah.
that's where we're at in society right now, is trying to figure out how much THC can you have in your system and still be functioning,
Right.
similar to what the 0.08 is for driving with alcohol.
Yeah.
So I think we gotta get our guidance from SDAO, because, I mean, we could change this policy a whole bunch and that may not work well for us with insurance.
Right.
So again, Shelby said it, this is not SDAO's. Okay. This is the city's policy that was put in here. Okay. Cause I know when I went through SDAO's, this is not what I pulled up from them.
Well, then you better call SDO.
Well, we'll look at that. We'll look at the policy, what we have, and see what they say about it. And then we'll call if we need to call.
Okay. Okay, on page 47. I have to say, in all these words, there was only one typographical error, I think, and it's in the very first line. And it says, although the district recognizes that alcohol, and it says rug, but it must mean drug abuse can be successfully treated. So I thought, boy, that's pretty good.
Right, if it's only one word out of 60 some
Yeah,
pages.
because there is so many words.
Yes.
Yeah, I was Yeah.
Double by the time
So-
we were done with this.
No, you did
So
good.
Shelby, if you're the one that typed all this, good job.
Yeah, Shelby, great.
Double.
She was.
So the last chance agreement. Do you have anything like that?
What
at the
page are you
park?
on?
Oh, it's on that page 47 and it's under discipline and consequences of prohibited conduct. It's in the second sentence. It says an employee who tests positive of drugs or alcohol in accordance with this policy will be subject to either termination or last chance agreement. And I just was wondering if the park even had a last chance agreement.
No,
No,
Okay.
but I think the plan was
No,
to type one up.
well, the city does, and that's why I was curious if we did, if this park did.
no. So if we could look at yours, that would be great.
Well, but usually,
No, the last chance agreement.
okay, I mean, I would share it with you, but usually when you get down to the point of a last chance agreement, you're on your way out the door.
You're right. We know that.
And, okay, I can share it with you.
So we're gonna give last chance. Forgive me, Shelby, please. It's your position. It's not you. I'm just saying, if Shelby's doing our books, we're gonna give her we're gonna give her the last chance agreement and hope that she clears up and gets help. I mean, I don't want somebody that's doing our books and writing our checks to be doing that.
Yeah.
I don't want our lifeguards getting, I guess we're just gonna hope for the best and hope nobody gets killed or what?
No.
Well, it depends on when you give that last chance agreement.
Well, that's what I mean.
I mean, maybe it's only you talk to them once, second, they do something bad second time, then that's the last chance agreement. Or they do something bad, then you give them a last chance agreement. Okay, it could be, the first offense, whatever it may be, you give it to them. So you do that again, you're done.
Mhm.
Well, this is all about dealing with testing for the drugs. They test positive for drugs. And they didn't come forward to talk about it, get help or anything. I'm not in favor of a last chance.
That's fine. We're okay with that. We kind of wrote down what was already written down. So,
Yeah, I would probably take that out.
okay.
I think it should be with the lifeguards at all.
Because
You
Scott,
wouldn't think.
if you had a kid that tested positive as a lifeguard, he's done,
No,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I think sometimes this is about like, if I see you driving recklessly in the park pickup, and I've told you once or twice about it, then here, I'm going to tell you this last time, and then there's no discussion after this.
Well, we
So,
can leave that out because we can we do warnings,
yeah,
verbal
I think,
and a written if we need to, but normally it doesn't even go to that. It's just like you're done. But
yeah.
And we have a policy in here that talks about, verbal warning, written warning,
Yeah.
or termination. So we can just fall back on that.
Yeah,
yeah, let's just do that.
okay.
So that goes out.
I see, I'm on page 48 and it's talking about kids with their ears pierced or, well, with those plugs in them and stuff, that they have to tape their ears to their head or something. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what the employee has to wear so that he doesn't get his earlobes caught. But
Well, if you're trimming trees and you have a big earring and a nose ring, you know, there's a chance you could get,
Hold on, Darren. I can tell you.
but I don't know what it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I didn't either. Because it talks about, your dress code and, like if you're ill or been hurt, that you need to talk about it. I thought that, let's see, am I to the point? Okay, I'm on page 50. We're nearly done. On the employee training about chemicals and stuff and where the safety data sheets are. Do your employees know, like at the pool, do they know where, like, because you guys have quite a few chemicals up there. Do you train people on when you hire them that?
Yes, we do. We focus on what their job is and what they will be using mostly. However, we have information data sheets on everything that's there.
Okay, so if whoever's in charge of, who pulls the water chemical test every day? Is that you?
No, the tests are done, well, yes, I do them, but so do the lifeguards. But there is no chemical involved with that test. I mean, it's just simple, right? As far as manually adding chemicals, it's usually myself doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have a paint and pesticide room in the rec shed, and we have the safety data sheets on the outside in a big notebook. So anybody that goes in there can look at those first if they want.
Okay, it says here under employee information and training, before starting work, employees will attend a health and safety orientation and receive information and training about the following. And then it talks about hazards and chemicals and stuff. So we do that?
Yeah. Yes.
We feel comfortable? Okay,
Yes.
good. And the bloodborne pathogens and stuff that we're providing
We have bags and sharps container. So if there's ever, well, we get that, we get people that cut themselves, they throw up, whatever. So we have all that to clean up and to put in a hazard bag.
And Ted, you have all that stuff?
No, I don't. I don't have sharps or anything.
So when they're cleaning the restrooms all around town, what do you tell them about if they find needles and stuff?
Well, we have litter pickers,
Yes,
they never use their own hands. We have a
Good.
bucket, a plastic bucket they put stuff in. And then it goes in a dumpster and nobody ever touches anything.
okay.
But that's what we use, but we don't have the sharps container or anything. We probably should, I guess, but I think a bucket's more safe than that. Especially if you're using a litter picker, because you're not even close to that at all, ever.
Right. Well, and two, I was just thinking about if I was at the rec center and I had diabetes and I needed, do you have a place like if people need to have an insulin shot because they over-exercised or something?
Yeah.
Or how does that work? Or do you worry about that? That's their business.
Don't really worry about that. However, we do find that sometimes and it goes in a sharps container. But usually they may do it in the private bathroom or something like that and put it in the garbage. But when we find that stuff, it goes into the sharps container. That makes sense?
Okay,
What's that?
Chad,
Yeah, it just seems to me like that you would think that they would, I don't know, maybe bring it to the desk and say, I had an emergency. I don't know.
I'm not sure. If they did, when I was at the front desk, so.
Ted, when you guys pick stuff up like that, do you put it in a red bag?
No, we just put it in a bucket. We have these 5-gallon buckets, plastic buckets.
Or you can you can buy those red bags online. I guess my issue is, I think everything's good and safe for your people, but once that stuff goes into the dumpster, people that are moving that dumpster need to know that that's potentially hazardous material, and that's what the
Okay.
red bags are for. Says, hey, this
Okay.
is potentially contaminating. And if you just have it in a regular bag or just dump it in the dumpster, then they can accidentally get pricked somewhere between the dumpster and the landfill.
Okay, I never thought of that. That's a good
But
idea.
that's what the red is for, is just to warn everybody that this is potentially contaminated. I mean, they would never be able to trace it back to us, but it's more of a good gesture.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
And then you can get one of those red sharp containers for like any broken glass that looks like it's contaminated. Because you don't want to put needles in a bag. Does that
There
make
are
sense?
places that you can take that to that will dispose of it for you.
Yeah. Down in the valley, you go to, I think it goes to the incinerator in Brooks, but I don't know if there's an incinerator in Eastern Oregon, maybe
Okay.
Tri-Cities.
There's not, we take all our stuff, all the sharps up to Spokane when we drop off our drug stuff.
Okay.
So we'd have to figure that out.
Okay, the only last thing I had was I just had a mark by the exit interview because I would hope that you do that. Because you always find out lots of stuff.
Like why they're quitting?
Huh?
Like why they're quitting?
Well, okay, because a lot of times they will tell you things when they know they're leaving
Yeah.
that you need to know.
Right. Well, we do that. I do that for sure. And I know
Okay,
Scott.
good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, why are you quitting? I mean, that's a natural reaction, actually. You know, what happened here that makes you want to quit? So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely something we do.
So how do you think Gino fits in with our look of an employee?
Or what? You mean that beard?
Sorry. So do we still have one of those IED machines down there
Oh, yes,
at the marina?
we have one in the pavilion. We had one. Oh, we have one in the pavilion. Or we had one in the pavilion. Now we have one. Somebody stole it, destroyed it. We have one in the laundry room in the campground bathroom. And we have one at Marker 40 Beach.
Do you know if anybody ever checks them to see if the batteries are good in them?
I don't know that. That was part of Morrow County Health District's
Right.
job to do that.
Yeah, and when I was reading all this stuff about, drugs and all that business, it made me remember that we put some down there, but I'd be surprised if they worked.
Well, I don't know what your relationship with the Morrow County Health District is, but if you have a chance to talk to them, you ought to ask.
I will.
Yeah, I'll call myself. I will do that.
Well, it just as bad if you think it works on the day you need it and you find out the batteries are dead and the paddles haven't been replaced in 2 years.
Yeah, and I think they're probably dead because I don't think anybody's been here for quite a while.
Okay.
Dale Turner's, what you're talking about, the AEDs, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Dale Turner's the one that wrote that grant. I will text him as soon as I'm done with this meeting and ask him who is in charge. I know at the high school, we got a couple of them and our custodian checked those batteries, but I'll ask Dale who is supposed to be checking the other batteries of the ones around the community.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Okay.
I have
I
a,
don't have more questions.
I do. On page 55, the very first paragraph there, with it starts with the word evaluation. Halfway through, it says that you guys give notification to people for layoffs. So I'm just questioning whether Scott gave them, have you given them letters regarding their temporary layoff?
Okay, well, okay, letters were written by Nicole, our pool manager. However, they already knew about it. So we actually didn't give them to them. We verbally talked to them about it, but I know that Nicole did write those letters and prepare them.
Okay, I'm just asking because I do agree with the fact that there should be some form of a notice given to people, whether they want it or not. They probably should get it mailed to them or something.
Okay. Do that.
Just to be, I mean, this employee handbook isn't even in effect yet, but I'm just saying as an employer, I think that we probably should at least have something for them, so.
I mean, it's pretty short notice, I think, verbal is pretty good notice. We can follow up with a letter if it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Well, potentially it could go longer than what it's scheduled to.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, because we know as soon as everybody else knows, that's it. I mean, what the heck?
Well, and the other part is you got something to put in their file for when they're trying to come back, and that you guys got stuff in here that deals with timelines and such. So that's a good thing to do.
All right, anybody have anything else? Great job, Karen.
Well, I finally took time to do my homework.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Karen.
I knew you'd love it, Ted.
Oh, I did. It was great.
You guys did the work.
No, I think it's good.
Okay, well,
Hey, there's
Are
still
we-
no, you still got resolution 05.
no,
but-
we're not doing that because there's too many corrections that need made to it.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. If there's nothing else, I move that we quit for the night.
Yeah, I want to go home.
You're supposed to be at home eating popcorn.
No, I'm at work still.
Yeah, 5 o'clock's coming up early tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys, for looking
Well, we
at.
got a lot of work done tonight, though.
You did.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you for that.
Thank you
Don't
three for all
overwork
the
us
work you
again.
did.
Yep, good job.
Oh, Ted, excuse me, Ted. I think we're not going to have to do Christmas boxes down at the park this year.
Oh, darn. That's too bad.
There's your good news for today.
No, 2 Christmas presents.
No, I think they're going to do them all through the food pantry.
Okay. That's probably good for them, though, to do that.
Yeah, I'll tell you if it changes, but otherwise I think we don't have to.
Okay, great. Thank
I'm
you.
going to. I'm on the board for the food pantry. They're doing it at the food pantry. So we're not using the park at all.
Awesome. All right, George moved and David seconded and we're adjourning.
Good night.
Hey, guys.
Bye.